जय गोपी जनवल्लभा गिरिवरधारी जय गोपी जनवल्लभा गिरिवरधारी यशोदानंदन ब्रज जन रंजन यशोदानंदन ब्रज जन रंजन यमुना तीर वनचारी यमुना तीरा वनचारी जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी राधा माधव जय गोपी जनवल्लभा गिरिवरधारी यशोदानंदन ब्रज जन रंजन यशोदानंदन ब्रज जन रंजन यमुना तीरा वनचारी यमुना तीरा वनचारी जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी ओम विष्णुपाद परमहंस परिव्रजकाचार्य अष्टोत्तर श्रीमद अद्वैत चरणारविंद भक्तिवेदांत स्वामी श्रील प्रभुपाद की ओम विष्णुपाद परमहंस परिव्रजकाचार्य अष्टोत्तर श्रीमद भक्ति सिद्धांत सरस्वती गोस्वामी महाराज श्रील प्रभुपाद की Scott Founderacharya, VVD Founderacharya, so the whole was Jagat Guru Śrīla Prabhupada ki, Granth Srimad-Bhāgavatam ki. All glories to Sambal devotees, Hare Krishna. All glories to Sambal devotees, Hare Krishna. All glories to Sambal devotees, Hare Krishna. All glories, all glories, all glories to Sri Guru and Sri Gauranga. All glories to Śrīla Prabhupada ki. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam namaskrityam naram chaiva narottamam devim saraswatim vyasam tato jaye mudirayet nashtapraya subhadreshu nityam bhagavata sevaya bhagavati ruttama shloke bhaktir bhavati naistiki. Hare Krishna. Welcoming all of you for today's Srimad-Bhāgavatam class. Today we are going to discuss Srimad-Bhāgavatam, Canto 2, Chapter 8, Text 3, 283. Kathayasva mahābhāga yathāham akhilātmani kathayasva mahābhāga yathāham akhilātmani kṛṣṇe niveśya niḥsaṅgam tyakṣye kalevaram kṛṣṇe niveśya niḥsaṅgam tyakṣye kalevaram kathayasva mahābhāga yathāham akhilātmani kṛṣṇe niveśya niḥsaṅgam tyakṣye kalevaram kathayasva mahābhāga yathāham akhilātmani kṛṣṇe niveśya niḥsaṅgam tyakṣye kalevaram kathayasva mahābhāga yathāham akhilātmani kṛṣṇe niveśya niḥsaṅgam tyakṣye kalevaram kathayasva mahābhāga yathāham akhilātmani kṛṣṇe niveśya niḥsaṅgam tyakṣye kalevaram kathayasva mahābhāga yathāham akhilātmani kṛṣṇe niveśya niḥsaṅgam tyakṣye kalevaram kathayasva mahābhāga yathāham akhilātmani kṛṣṇe niveśya niḥsaṅgam tyakṣye kalevaram kathayasva mahābhāga yathāham akhilātmani kṛṣṇe niveśya niḥsaṅgam tyakṣye kalevaram. Anybody else like to? Mataji, Vaishnavis. Kathayasva mahābhāga yathāham akhilātmani kṛṣṇe niveśya niḥsaṅgam tyakṣye kalevaram word-to-word meaning. Kathayasva. Please continue speaking. Mahābhāga. O greatly fortunate one. Yathā. As much as. Aham. I. Akhila-ātmani. Unto the Supreme Soul. Kṛṣṇe. Unto Lord Śrī Kṛṣṇa. Niveśya. Having placed. Niḥsaṅgam. Being freed from material qualities. manaḥ. Mind. tyakṣye. May relinquish. Kalevaram. Body. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace, Abhay Charnarvind Bhaktivedanta Swami Śrīla Prabhupada ki. Oh, greatly fortunate Śukadeva Gosvāmī, please continue narrating Srimad-Bhāgavatam so that I can place my mind upon the Supreme Soul, Lord Kṛṣṇa, and being completely freed from material qualities, thus relinquish this body. Please repeat. Oh, greatly fortunate Śukadeva Gosvāmī, please continue narrating Srimad-Bhāgavatam so that I can place my mind upon the Supreme Soul, Lord Kṛṣṇa, and being completely freed from material qualities, thus relinquish this body. Purport. To be fully engaged in hearing the transcendental narration described in the text of Srimad-Bhāgavatam means to constantly associate with the Supreme Soul, Śrī Kṛṣṇa. And to constantly associate with the Supreme Lord Kṛṣṇa means to be liberated from the qualities of matter. Lord Kṛṣṇa is like the sun, and material contamination is like darkness. As the presence of sun dissipates darkness, constant engagement in association of the Lord Śrī Kṛṣṇa frees one from the contamination of material qualities. Contamination by material qualities is the cause of repeated birth and death. And liberation from material qualities is transcendence. Mahārāja Parīkṣit was now a realized soul by this secret of liberation through the grace of Śukadeva Gosvāmī. For the latter had informed the king that the highest perfection of life is to be in remembrance of Narayana at the end of life. Mahārāja Parīkṣit was destined to give up his body at the end of 7 days, and thus he decided to continue remembering the Lord by association with the topics of Srimad-Bhāgavatam, and thus to quit this body in full consciousness of presence of the Lord Śrī Kṛṣṇa, the Supreme Soul. The hearing of Srimad-Bhāgavatam performed by professional men is different from the transcendental hearing of Mahārāja Parīkṣit. Mahārāja Parīkṣit was a soul realized in the absolute truth, Śrī Kṛṣṇa, the personality of Godhead. The fruity materialist is not a realized soul. He wants to derive some material benefits from his so-called hearing of Srimad-Bhāgavatam. Undoubtedly, such an audience hearing Srimad-Bhāgavatam from professional men can derive some material benefits as they desire. But that does not mean that such a pretense of hearing Srimad-Bhāgavatam for a week is as good as hearing of Mahārāja Parīkṣit. It is the duty of the sane to hear Srimad-Bhāgavatam from a self-realized soul and not to be duped by professional men. One should continue such hearing till the end of one's life so that one can actually have the transcendental association of the Lord and thus be liberated simply by hearing Srimad-Bhāgavatam. Mahārāja Parīkṣit had already given up all his connections with his kingdom and family, the most attractive features of materialism, but still he was conscious of his material body. He wanted to be free from such bondage also by the constant association of the Lord. Thus ends the translation and purport by His Divine Grace, Abhay Charnarvind Bhaktivedanta Swami Śrīla Prabhupada. In context of questions by King Parīkṣit from Srimad-Bhāgavatam, Canto 2, Chapter 8, Text 3. Om Ajnānatimirandhasya Jnānāñjana-śalakaya Chakshurunmīlitam yena tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha. Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam yena bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayyam Dadati Swapadantikam. Vandeham Shri Gurau Shri Yuta Padakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Shahagana Raghunathanvitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadhutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Shahagana Lalita Shri Vishakhanvitamscha Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Pristhaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Niti Namine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesa Sunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine Vancha Kalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhyevacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha. Jai Shri Kṛṣṇa Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shri Vasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Sarva Vedaika Satphala Sarva Siddhanta Ratnadhya Sarva Lokaika Drikpada Sarva Bhagavata Prana Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam Prabhu Kali Dhvanto Ditaditya Shri Kṛṣṇa Parivartita Paramananda Pathaya Prema Varshi Aksharayate Sarvada Sarva Sevyaya Shri Kṛṣṇaya Namastume Madeka Bandhu Matasangi Manguro Mad Mahādhana Mannistarak Mad Bhagyam Madananda Namastute Asadu Sadhu Tadain Ati Nichochataraka Hanamuncha Kadachin Mam Premna Ritkantayoshpura. Hare Krishna. So before I have to speak anything, I would like to beg mercy and blessings from all assembled Vaishnavas and Vaishnavis over here, specifically His Holiness Bhakti Prabhu Swami Maharaj. It's so kind to be here to give mercy to all of us. His Grace Rukmini Krishna Prabhu is here, and one of the most dear Prabhupada disciple, His Grace Kripanidhi Prabhu, is also here. So, just like small little kids, when they start speaking, blabbering, and then the parents, they feel very happy being into their presence. And they should be there, right? So it's like a great shade of compassion and mercy that we are being given this opportunity to speak about Krishna for their pleasure. Hare Krishna. So here we see this chapter 8, question by King Parīkṣit. And before that, the scheduled incarnation of the Lord, Brahmaji has spoken all that, different questions. He has given answer of different questions of Narad Muni. Narad Muni was seemingly confused, telling that, oh, my dear father, it seems like everything is being run by you. You are the supreme creator and supreme. Practically, you are doing everything. And I don't think anybody is greater than you. But sometimes I see that you meditate. Upon whom you meditate? Is there any higher person than you? So Brahmaji tells that, my dear son, it is just because of the illusory energy of that Supreme Lord. Sometimes people that speak like you, that there is somebody other than Supreme Goddess Sri Kṛṣṇa, Sri Hari, that someone is creator other than him. So then he goes ahead telling about the different pastimes of the Lord in connection with illusory energy of the Lord. for the creation of this material universe, starting from Karanadakshay Vishnu, then Lord expands as Garbhodakshay Vishnu, then Shirodakshay Vishnu. And later on, Supreme Lord's pastimes with internal energy. Very beautiful chapter, the previous chapter, the scheduled incarnation of the Lord, all the different pastimes of the Lord is being described, and after that, Brahmaji tells. So, I have told you this Srimad-Bhāgavatam, Yaname Bhagavatam, Bhagavata-oditam, it is given by Lord Himself to me. And Sangrahoyam Vibhutinam, this is the accumulation of all that Vibhutis of the Supreme Godhead. So, I give you order. It's my instruction, my dear son and disciple, that Tvam etad vipuli kuru. Please explain it and expand it. And how you will expand it? With great determination. It gives this sankalpaya varnaya. You have to be very determined. Because this is the way, by explaining these pastimes and the different activities of the Supreme Lord, people of this material world, they are going to get bhakti. So you have to explain in the way that they get the devotional service aroused into their heart. So, sankalpaya varnaya. So then Parīkṣit Maharaj was very much inquisitive. He asked that, okay, so a person like Narad Muni, his association is as good as Lord Kṛṣṇa. So to whom he spoke? To whom he spoke and how he spoke, like that. He is asking the questions once again. And so many questions are going to come here. So previous sloka, Parīkṣit Maharaj tells, I was to know narrations concerning the Lord who possesses wonderful potencies, are certainly auspicious for living beings in all planets. So please tell, O mahābhāga, yathā-aham akhila-ātmani, about Supreme Godhead Śrī Kṛṣṇa, who is there in everyone's heart. Mahābhāga, because he is most fortunate. Both of the people are most fortunate, but they are telling each other, they are glorifying Śukadeva Gosvāmī. Both of them had connection, direct connection with Supreme Godhead Śrī Kṛṣṇa from their very beginning of their life, right? Not a Paramatma, but with Kṛṣṇa. With the birth of Parīkṣit Maharaj, we see that Lord had to interfere, to get him out from the womb. And Śukadeva Gosvāmī also, he was another guy who was so much adamant not to come out from the womb of mother. He was telling, I will not come out because I am very fearful. If I come out, then father, mother, uncle, auntie, and all that, they will capture me. And they will tell, Baba, how are you? Hare Krishna. So nice kid. So, and in this way, I will just forget Krishna. I will be again enamored by illusory energy, so I won't come. So, 14 or 16 years, he was there in the womb of mother. So, his father Vyasa told him, okay, I will let the master of Maya come, then he will come out. So, that's okay. Then it's fine. So, Vyasa called Dwarkadhish from Dwarka, Krishna. So, Lord himself tells that, come out, Baba. There is no problem. If you come here, I will make whole material planet sunya, zero influence. No radar, there is no any Wi-Fi coming of illusory energy. He made it fully out of illusion. And Śukadeva Gosvāmī comes, and as soon as he comes out, just leaps to jungle. Yam prabrajantam anupetam upeta kritam Dvaipayana viraha katara. Yam prabrajantam. We start doing prabrajantam when we come in ISKCON. So many devotees, they tell Prabhuji, let's go for this camp and that yatra and that yatra. And after so much of follow-up, people, they turn up, some number of people. But Śukadeva Gosvāmī, as soon as God took birth, he didn't say anywhere. Let's go to north. And he didn't take any company else, just he went alone. Anupetam, upeta krutam, no sacred, nothing required. I just went out. So, Parīkṣit Maharaj is telling, O mahābhāga, please tell about the Supreme Godhead Śrī Kṛṣṇa. Kathayasva, mahābhāga. So, kṛṣṇe niveśya niḥsaṅgam, so that I could be absorbed into Kṛṣṇa katha. Kṛṣṇe niveśya. My mind will be fully invested, niveśya, fully engaged, absorbed in Kṛṣṇa. And by doing that, what will happen? Niḥsaṅgam. I will be freed from this material nature by influence of these material qualities, sattva, rajas, and tamas. So, kṛṣṇe niveśya niḥsaṅgam manas tyakṣye kalevaram. And in this way, I would like to give up my life. Kalevaram, this body I want to just give up. So Prabhupada talks about Kṛṣṇa is non-different from Kṛṣṇa. There is no difference between, we know already Srimad-Bhāgavatam is non-different from Kṛṣṇa. Srimad-Bhāgavatam, anybody hears from Srimad-Bhāgavatam the topics about Kṛṣṇa is actually continuously associating with Kṛṣṇa. Associating with it. The Mahaprabhu himself has enunciated this, as well as all the acharyas have showed us that how it is so, that just by having association of Kṛṣṇa in the sound of vibration, that's a perfect association. Yeah, we can have association with Kṛṣṇa, like we can have a deity form also we can worship. But unless we hear about Kṛṣṇa through our ears, that's not perfect association. Now, we know this, that people like the most intimate associate and very close associate of the Lord, like Kala-Krishna Das, he was in association of Mahaprabhu continuously. Mahaprabhu's association, but some or other he just went away. And we know this, that Mahaprabhu himself has to go and take the shikha to pick him up out, again, come back again. And he comes back in Puri, he goes to Nitaichandra, Nitaichandra, you take care of this. Some crazy people, sometimes they go away with leaving me, leaving my association, leaving my service. So this hearing of Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam is a perfect association of the Lord. That is very, very important. Anybody whoever is associating with the deity form or whatever form, they must also associate with the Sabda Brahman Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam. That is the real association. And that gives perfect guarantee of a person, of that person, that he is not being influenced by material nature. Perfect guarantee. You know this Bhaktivinoda Thakur, when he had to handle this, there was a false Bhagavan somewhere in Odisha. His name was Phalgu Bhagavan. Ram Krishna, Ram Phalgu Bhagavan. So this fellow was creating so much nuisance, he was telling himself to be God, and so many followers were there telling that, yes, Ram Krishna, Ram Phalgu Bhagavan. So Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur told, okay, no problem, I will go and take care of him. So Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur took Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam with him, and he just went. And he started reading Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam just beside that fellow's gufa, that cave, where he was practicing this black art, black magic. And he was really frightened, so he thought, I will also do some black magic upon Bhaktivinoda Thakur. So Bhaktivinoda Thakur didn't do anything. After giving him warning that you should surrender to Supreme God, either you should surrender to me, because you are the magistrate, he had the power of attorney to arrest him. So he didn't do that. So Bhaktivinoda Thakur just chanted Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam there. And we see that he was killed practically. So Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam is not meant for killing someone, but we see that the person who actually wanted to inflict miseries upon Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur, but he himself was killed. Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur was perfectly saved, perfectly safe. So this Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam, hearing about Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam is directly associating with Supreme Personality of Godhead, Śrī Kṛṣṇa. There is no doubt about it. That's why Srila Prabhupada has established this principle of every temple, there must be everyday Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam classes. If it is not happening, means the atmosphere is like deadly. Yeah, the atmosphere is deadly. So Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam must be heard every day. Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya. Then that person is free from all influences of material nature. So when a question comes to how to hear Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam, so that we can absorb ourselves in Krishna's remembrance, because hearing Sravanam, then comes Kirtanam, then there must be Smaranam. Sravanam, Kirtanam, Vishnu Smaranam. Vishnu Smaranam should be there. That's why Srila Prabhupada is telling here that Parīkṣit Maharaj want to remember the Lord, because he himself, Śukadeva Gosvāmī, has told that whatever you do, whatever varnashrama you follow, or you do Ashtanga yoga, karma yoga, whatever yoga, there must be remembrance of the Lord at the end of life. Ante Narayana Smritihi. Then only all of your activities, whatever you have done, that is of any use. That's what Srila Prabhupada many times tells this Bangla proverb, Bhajan karo, sajan karo, marte janle hoy. When you get to death, then all that bhajan, all the devotional service you have performed, that will be seen there, that how much you did. Or you just did fakibaji, or you just somehow or other just chanted. So, and this hearing is very, very important. And how one should hear Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam. There is a very beautiful lecture. I was just going through the lecture of His Holiness Bhakti Vigyan Gosvāmī Maharaj. So Maharaj was telling that there is some criteria, there are some qualities of the hearer. How one should hear Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam. So that kṛṣṇe niveśya, our mind could be absorbed in Kṛṣṇa. We are able to see Kṛṣṇa. Prabhupada also tells one of the purport that by reading Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam, we said we will see Kṛṣṇa in the pages of Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam. The pages of Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam, we are able to see Kṛṣṇa. We should be able to see Kṛṣṇa. So he tells, Viswaso Guru Vakyeshu, from Padma Puran, Maharaj tells, Viswaso Guru Vakyeshu. When we are hearing from a spiritual master, then we must have full faith upon the words of a spiritual master. Whatever he is telling is perfect, is 100% sure. Any instruction, yes, this is truth. Not like for the sake of Bhagavatam, okay, we sat in the, like usually all of us ISKCON devotees, we hear from a spiritual master as well as from Srila Prabhupada, right? So, whether it's Srila Prabhupada and a spiritual master, Viswase Guru Vakyeshu, this is the first thing, the first quality. We must have faith upon the instructions imparted by a spiritual master. Second is called Sa Visama Dinavat Bhavana. When we are hearing Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam, the mood of a hearer should be of humility. Dinavat Bhavana. Deen means very destitute, not having any grudge or not having any proud, right? Sometimes we sit also, we see that, okay, let's see this fellow, what he speaks. Come on. Yeah, it could happen also in mode of passion, ignorance sometimes. I'm talking about me, myself. So, Dinavat Bhavana, this humility must be there when we are hearing Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam. Okay. So then only whatever is coming will liquidate, right? Otherwise, if it's not there, then it will simply just bounce. It will just simply touch ears and will just go away from here. Dinavat Bhavana. Mano dosha jayas chaiva. That is third. Mano dosha jayas chaiva. What is the mano dosh? What is the man dosh? What is the fault of mind? Mind is always going from one subject matter to another subject matter. Always. It's a business is that. You go from one place to another place. Sometimes we hear Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam, then we are okay. We go somewhere in the past, then we go somewhere in the plannings. Then this is the nature of the mind. And specifically nowadays when there is social media, so difficult. Somehow or other we try to keep mobile phones away while we are doing sadhana morning programs and all that. Otherwise, so horrible, so difficult. Like people are so used to of using WhatsApps and Facebook and even calls for anything and everything. They will just take up the call, take up the phone, and they will call. Okay. Prabhuji, this happened, what to do? Baba, you jot down all the questions, ask all the questions. Why you are disturbing all this? This has become very much a great fashion. It's very difficult to control mind. And specifically that's why in Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam classes, we should be very much focused. And devotees, they keep away these instruments when they are reading and hearing Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam. Manodosha jayas chaiva kathayam niṣcalamatihi. Kathayam niṣcalamatihi. There should not be any type of, what's called, hypocritical hearing. Niṣcalamatihi. Whatever is, we are asking the questions, that should come from our heart. It should not come to just to check how deep, let's see what is the answer is. Niṣcalamati, fully plain slate, right? So for that person, this Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam hearing gives very rapid, what's called remembrance of the Lord. Hearing about Supreme Lord gives like jubilation, ecstatic symptoms into the personality of the devotee. Otherwise, for many days here, there is no effect. That's what we say in the story of this Dhundukari, right? This happened in Kali Yuga, this pastime that still is recorded in Padma Purana. Rather, it's happened after when Śukadeva Gosvāmī spoke Nitaichandra, if I am not wrong. So this Dhundukari, he was a ghost. He had been, he was butchered by prostitutes, and because of that, his untimely death, he had become ghost. And now his brother Gokarna, he thought that how he will come out of the ghost. He went to different brahmanas and searched out how he will come out. They told that you must do Srimad-Bhāgavatam class. I mean, Srimad-Bhāgavatam katha, not class. Srimad-Bhāgavatam katha. Right? 7 days Srimad-Bhāgavatam katha, and you should invite that ghost, your brother Dhundukari, and he is staying in this bamboo forest, bamboo forest. And then bamboo forest, when they come, it comes like a huge bunch of so many bamboos they are there. You have seen bamboo forest like that. So he was staying in one of the bamboo forest, and all that they assembled near there, and they did Srimad-Bhāgavatam katha. And we know in 7 days, this Dhundukari was delivered, hearing Srimad-Bhāgavatam. He was delivered. Rather, Vishnu Dutas comes themselves, and they took him back home, back to Godhead, in just 7 days of hearing. Now Gokarna asked that we were also hearing Srimad-Bhāgavatam. What happened to us? We are still here. We were in human form of life. He was there is no form. He was just taking shelter of bamboo, right? So in ghostly body, you won't get any human body and no body. So what happened then? The Brahmanas told, why? Because you people, when Bhagavatam katha was happening and you were going back, so you were there in your own business. Okay, whatever is going on. And you never contemplated upon what had been spoken in Srimad-Bhāgavatam class. It was not there. Okay. Kanapurti, just like, okay, fill up, finished. Srimad-Bhāgavatam class over. Right, ball. Now let's go for Srimad Prasadam. So after that, things gets over. So no, he was continuously, he was meditating, thinking about the Supreme Lord, thinking about what had been discussed. So that's why he got delivered. And you are still there. So hearing is very important, how absorbed we are in hearing Srimad-Bhāgavatam class. And then automatically this follows. Absorption as well as remembrance of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, this follows. So now, let us see this. Srila Prabhupada gives here, very beautiful. So Parīkṣit Mahārāja himself tells that this Srimad-Bhāgavatam, how it works, that if somebody hears Srimad-Bhāgavatam very meticulously, then what happens? It enters into our ears and it reaches our heart. Kṛṣṇa, in the sound vibration, he sits upon the heart, the lotus which is there in the heart. Lotus of what? Bhava. Devotional emotions. It sits there. Means there is a reciprocation with the Lord. The relationship develops with the devotee and the Lord. And Dhunoti Shamalam Kṛṣṇa. And Śrī Kṛṣṇa himself, he goes there and cleanses the heart. Dhunoti Shamalam Kṛṣṇa Salilasya yathā. How it cleanses? When in the autumn season there is a rain, and immediately all that bodies, water bodies, they gets cleaned. Salilasya yathā, perfectly clean. So Prabhupada tells that this is the perfect cleaning that happens, which cannot be replaced and cannot be compared with any other cleaning, like chemical cleaning that we do with putting alum and all that. So hearing Srimad-Bhāgavatam, it works. Salilasya yathā, it goes. And when it cleanses, dhautātma purusha Kṛṣṇa pādamulam na munchati. When that person, that soul gets perfectly purified, then he cannot forget Kṛṣṇa. Now this is another disease he gets. He cannot forget Kṛṣṇa. He cannot leave Kṛṣṇa. Pādamulam na munchati. He cannot leave Kṛṣṇa, even though you try him. So that's what we see. This is a fanatic attachment with Supreme Goddess Śrī Kṛṣṇa, it takes place in ISKCON with the devotees, who gives oral reception, very humble oral reception. To Srimad-Bhāgavatam classes, they go for Harinam Sankirtan, and the people, they go and they just see and they will feel like gone, finished. They're finished. That's what we see in when Srila Prabhupada's times, devotees were so ecstatically doing Harinam Sankirtan, and they were simply, they were so enamored by the ecstasy of Harinam Sankirtan, they were attracted toward Krishna, they were not able to leave. And that's why this term came out, brainwashing, and people started saying, brainwashing. Prabhupada said, this is not brainwashing. This is hridaya washing, this is heart washing. This is heart washing is happening, yathā purusha, dhunoti, samalam Krishna. So it can, how we can leave Krishna? And then the whole, so many devotees, so many people, they were coming to Krishna and they were surrendering themselves by this pure process given by Srila Prabhupada. Another industry only came out in the leadership of Ted Patrick. He himself started another industry of deprogramming and all that. So much. Prabhupada said, this will go on. This type of demons and always there. So we don't worry about that. Param vijayate Śrī Kṛṣṇa Sankirtanam. There will be surely there will be victory of Śrī Kṛṣṇa Sankirtanam. That's what that's why it happened. It's so easy. That cannot be produced by these people. Those who are what's called professional speakers. That cannot be produced. They are simply just making money. There is no bhava saroruham part. That's missing. So we see this Harinam is even more powerful, right? Harikatha is of course powerful. Harinam is like, it's very much active. Sometimes we come in class and sometimes instead of tyakṣye militam, it gets militam. It happens with me practically. But who can sleep in Harinam Sankirtan? Can anybody sleep? That's why Mahaprabhu has gave this process. Harinam Sankirtan. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. So our condition is, as in Purport is told, that we are separated from the Shaurya. Krishna Shaurya Sama, Maya Hoy Andhikar. And we are the part of Krishna, that Shaurya. And we are here. Our natural tendency is to be attracted with Krishna. But we are into this, some artificial position here, forgetting Krishna Bahirmukh Jeev. Our tendency is always to do sense gratification, or in other sense, to dominate over the material nature. Through our eyes, through our ears, through our nose, through our tongue, through our skins. And Maya te pasate Maya jhapotiya dhore. And immediately Maya, which is just sitting beside us, it captures us. Okay, come on, forget Krishna. And the situation is very difficult for Jiva. And there is a fight between Jiva and Maya when somebody comes in association with devotees. So before that, this Pisachi Maya, as Jagannath Pandit tells, this is a Pisachi Maya. Pisachi Maya, okay, what is called Pisachi witch? This is called witch. Pisachi paile jano mati channa hoy. Living entities are all mati channa, all mad. And they are speaking something, they are doing something, they are all crazy people. And they are suffering because of that. And when some or other, by association of devotees, they hear about Krishna, they hear about who are they, then what happens? Then they start realizing, oh my God, what so long I was doing, it was all nonsense. Ami nitya Krishna dasai katha bhule, maya rana fara haya chiradina bhule. So he was thinking that so long being nafar of Maya. Nafar means it is Urdu word spoken by Jagannath Pandit. So nafar means servant. So many years I had been suffering, becoming Maya's nafar. And now that I have got association of devotees, Airupe sansara bhramite kono jan, sadhu sange nija tatve avagata hon. So sadhu sangha, when we get the association of devotees like we, devotees to go for preaching, to give sadhu sangha. This is the mission of Srila Prabhupada. Become a sadhu, perfect sadhu, and go and distribute sadhu sangha. Otherwise, people, they are simply crazy. Pisachi paile mati channa hoye. And they are crazy. And there is no remedy for them. When they come in association devotees, they understand who are they. Nij tattva jani ar sansarana chaye keno va bhajinu maya kore hai hai. Then he starts really lamenting that why did I do so much of sense gratification? Why did I do so much of maya dashatva? So I should now give this up. Sansara na chahe. Sansar nij tattva jane. Now I understand who am I. I am pardon of Krishna. I am servant of the servant of the servant of Krishna. That's it. Oh. Kabe bole oh hey Krishna. Kande bole oh hey Krishna. He cries. Devotee needs to cry. Kande bole. He must cry. Kande bole oh hey Krishna. Amitava das. Tomare charane chadi hoilo sarvanas. So he cries for Krishna. Oh Krishna, leaving your lotus feet, all that I have lost. I've lost my all the wealth. Hoilo sarvanas, kripa kori Krishna. Then Lord does kripa. When you cry, then Lord does kripa. Unless we cry, Krishna doesn't really gives any heed. So, kripa kori Krishna tare chhadano sansar kakuti koriya Krishna jadi dake ek bar, just once. Just once. Sakrit eva. Sakrit. Just once. Just once. Just once also somebody cries, Krishna takes him off of sansara, of material nature. That's what here is. So, how it happens with these qualities of destituteness, this humility, when one becomes really meek and humble, understanding what his position is, and then Lord becomes very merciful. Maya ke pishane rakhi Krishna paye chai. Bhajite bhajite Krishna pada padmo pai. And then illusory influence becomes backward. And he goes backside. Maya ke pishane rakhi. Now Maya is not ahead in front of him. Ahead in front of him is only Krishna, Supreme Personality Godhead, in different features, through his name, through his form, deity worship, Harinam, Srimad-Bhāgavatam classes, then pastimes. And in this way, he does bhajan. Bhajite bhajite Krishna pada padma paye. Krishna tare dena nija chit saktira bal. Maya ra akarshana chhado hoi durbal. So this Maya illusion energy is so very powerful. Mama Maya durattaya Durga. It's very difficult to win over the illusory energy. So that Maya becomes durbal in front of that devotee. So I'm not telling, I'm not challenging Maya. So Maya becomes durbal, is Jagannatha Pandit telling himself. Krishna tare then nija shakti shakti will be. He becomes powerful. Chit Shakti, Lord himself gives his own Chit Shakti, potency of Chit Shakti. By that, he goes ahead and challenges illusory energy and brings so many people in Krishna consciousness. Why? Because Lord himself has invested his Chit Shakti into it. It's nothing called his own magic. No, it's all magic of Krishna being done through his devotee. Chit Shakti, Maya, then he becomes Durbal. Sadhu Sange Krishna Nam, Ei Matra Chai, Sansara Jinite Ar Kichunai. There is nothing except this sadhu sangha and Krishna in association of devotees. That's it I want. So in this way, by chanting the holy name here in Srimad-Bhāgavatam, having this quality, we can fully absorb our mind with Krishna. And if we are continuing to doing so, even for a short period of time, it's having great potency. And we hope and pray for all of us, we keep always absorb ourselves in Krishna consciousness, and so that we are able to bring more and more of souls being empowered by this Chit Shakti of Krishna to the lotus feet of Krishna, and ourselves, we shall return home back to Godhead. Yeah, that's what Srila Prabhupada wanted. Back home, back to Godhead. That's the goal Prabhupada has set for all the devotees of ISKCON so many times. Always back home, back to Godhead. Sripad Janani Prabhu always used to say, Prabhu only used to say, back home, back to Godhead, ki jai. So sweetly used to say. So like that. So I like to stop here. Now 10 minutes more. Is there any comment, any correction? So I like to request anything. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Prabhu.
Hare Krishna.
Dandavat Pranam. Very nice explanation with regard to the devotional. Prabhu, from Bhagavad Gita and Bhagavatam, apart from other transcendental scriptures, plenty of Vaishnava devotees' qualities are delineated. The main qualities of the devotees. In fact, I have noted about 250 qualities in my diary from the other important scriptures. So in this present age, everyone is falling down at one stage, at one context or other, in this present age. Then how to recognize and move with the recognized devotees and in a retrospective way, in a correct way. Then how to recognize and move with the recognized devotees. Recognized devotees.
Okay.
Then how we come to understand that he is the perfect devotee, so that we follow with him.
So like everybody is fallen in Kali Yuga, they don't have good qualities. So how do we, devotees means he has good qualities. So how do we recognize that this person is a devotee, right?
Right, wonderful.
Oh, it's a very technical question. But Mahaprabhu already answered that. Kulingram Vaishnava, they used to ask that who is a Vaishnava. Mahaprabhu used to tell that for Grihastha, you should chant the holy name and serve Vaishnavas. They asked, who is a Vaishnava? Mahaprabhu told, whoever chants even once, he is a Vaishnava. So you should serve him. Second, next year also the same question was asked. So Mahaprabhu told that those who keep chanting always, he is a Vaishnava. Third year, again the same question. Mahaprabhu tells, just by his simply, seeing visual audience, somebody gets enthusiasm, impulses to chant the holy name, he is a Vaishnava. And so one after another, he gives superlative definition of Vaishnava. So one should associate accordingly. That's my ambience and nectar of instruction. So how one should associate with different kinds of devotees differently. So that's also there. So in that way. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. So we'd like to stop here. Grantha Srimad-Bhāgavatam ki Gaur Premanande Hari Hari Bol. Hare Krishna.